Oh, she's gonna unmute, tell me. Oh, put on your thing, okay, good.
No, it's just what it is. So yeah, this is my reminder.
Okay. Let's start seated. And thank you all. Just sitting up on a folded blanket. It's pretty good. Try to make there enough space for. Thanks for showing yourselves. Just notice which shin goes naturally in front. I actually did want to check in with you all, and you can put messages in the chat with how class was for you on Friday, those who were here, because we did some very deep hip opening. And I know personally my hips felt a lot better the next day, but I was kind of sore that night. So yeah, we did a lot of deep leg crossing and shoulder work, and they're very connected, the shoulders and the pelvis. And so when you loosen one and get, also get into the shoulders, things can really shift around. And I think it helps move emotions as well, because I think there is quite a bit of emotion stored in the shoulders and in between the shoulder blades. So working that area can release stuck emotion. And same with the hips. I think they get so tight, and when we can access and increase our range of motion in the hips, it can also release stored energy or stored emotion. So just notice which shin is in front naturally, and then just cross the legs the other way. So crossing the legs the unnatural way. And take a few breaths. And notice your starting place. The feeling of your body from the inside. And just taking breath in and out through the nose. Just notice 3 or 4 more breaths go by. And with each exhalation, find more stability in your seat. Notice your posture. Personally, I was kind of coming forward, and I notice even when I notice my image when I'm walking and stuff, I lead with my head and shoulders. I think it's probably pretty common in our culture to lead with our heads. And then the yogis these days also talk about texting neck, having your head like this. So yeah, we'll work on lifting our chest and creating more space for the breath by expanding the ribs. And then just begin letting your breath come in through the nose and out through the mouth, and we'll stretch first to the left. Press down through the right sit bone. And then to the right, press down through the left sit bone. And first side again. Thanks for showing up. I know it's a nice day outside, and sometimes it's hard to come inside and turn on the computer when there's nice weather and sun shining. Nice. And one more time each side. Just bend that opposite elbow so left elbow bends a little. And second side. And come up, and let's take some twisting as well. So just lift both arms. As you exhale, bring the right hand to the left knee and bring the left hand back behind you. Deepening your exhalations to exceed length of inhalation. Stretch the arms up and take the second side. Left hand outside of right knee. Breathe. And come back through center, just stretch the arms up and interlace the fingers and stretch the legs out. Just rock the legs. Just both feet same direction. And turn the palms skyward and just continue to stretch up through the hands. And as you do so, extend out through the heels also. Inner and outer heel. Good. And let the arms float down. And roll the shoulders. And cross the legs again, this time the more habitual way. And bring the right ear towards the right shoulder and reach out through the fingers of the left hand. And lift the head, extend the right arm, and then bring left ear towards left shoulder. And use the hand opposite and extend out through fingers of right hand. And lift the head. And let's take one more twist each side. Just stretch the arms up again. Big breath in and twist to the first side. Right hand outside of left knee. Breath in and out. And arms up. And second side. Let's bring left hand outside of right knee. And come back through center and extend the legs out again. And stretch the arms up again. Perhaps come a little further close to the front edge of your blanket. So your sit bones are lifted and padded, but your back of your hamstrings may be touching the floor. Palms skyward. And then same as we often do with the feet, we do with the hands. So cross the hands the other way and stretch the arms up again. Good. And if it's tight in the shoulders, you can bend the elbows and or just stretch within your range of motion. So no pain, no pinching, nothing extreme. And then make a little roof over the head and just stretch to the left. Press down through the right sit bone. Keep pressing out through the mound of the big toe. Draw the little toe side back towards you and second side. Keep pressing left leg down, left hamstring. And come up and unclasp the hands, let the arms Come down and roll your shoulders. Good. And let's just come forward, hands towards shins, tuck your chin. And come up, breath in, and lift your arms like a wave. And exhale, come forward again. Lead with, kind of like with the wrists and the chest. And take a couple breaths. And lift up again, just stretch up like a wave and look up. And exhale again, dive forward. Exhale. Extend the front body over and drape it over the lower body. So it's more of an extension rather than a bend or a fold. And come up, slide the hands back down the legs. And just rub the legs, rub the thighs, the outer band of tissue that can get so tight. We spend a lot of time hiking or walking or sitting. And bring the hands under the knees. And let's go ahead and come up to standing. And if you have a block, great. And take your blanket off to the side. We'll work a little with some sun salutation. So I'm just going to do the side view. So coming towards the front of your mat, bend your knees. And we're just going to sweep the arms up, stretch up. Take the thumb slightly back. Exhale, dive forward. Fingertips on block just for this first time through. Step the right foot back, just so you have some support under your hands, or perhaps a chair. If you have a chair handy, you can use the seat of a chair. But just as we get warmed up, back heel lifted, left hand, top of left knee, and lift the right arm. Thumb slightly back. And dive forward. And place your hands flat on the mat and step the left leg back. Shift the hips back. Dog pose. Just come way up onto the balls of your feet. Yeah, bend your knees a little, tilt the sit bones skyward. And inch the balls of the feet forward a little and just lower the heels towards the floor. Rolling back over the balls of the feet. And lift up again, lift your armpits, come into plank position or forearm plank. So especially if there's wrist pain, and or you can use the chair. So that'll take a little pressure off the hands. So plank or forearm plank. And come down to your knees, your chest and your chin. Hands right underneath the tops of the shoulders. Hug the elbows in, root the tailbone, gentle cobra. Touch your forehead down, curl your toes under. Lift the knees up and scoot them forward. Press your hands, draw the hips back. Exhale. Breath in, breath out. And coming forward, right foot forward between your hands and bring your block back into play. Curl the toes under block or chair. Good. Nice. So the chair looks like this if you have a chair. Just have a chair under your hands, which is really a nice option. Especially if you need to have not quite so much weight in your hands or shoulders. And right hand, right knee. It's a great time to build your props, your home props. And just gonna rock back on right heel, step the left foot forward, slide the hands up the legs, breath in. Nice flat back. Breath out, hands towards ankles, elbows out to the side. Check your chin and shake the head. And extend your spine again, nice flat back. Just cup the hands right around the kneecaps. Take the tailbone down, lift the arms up, breath in. And stretch side to side. So just take the hips to the right and stretch the arms left. And come up and stretch hips to the left and arms to the right. Hips slightly back towards the heels and back to center and palms in front of the heart. Exhale. Soften your knees, bounce a little. Breathe in and out. And second side, we'll just inhale, stretch up. Exhale, dive forward, slide hands down legs. Forehead towards shin, hands towards ankles. It's like our seated warm up. And perhaps the block again, come up part way. And take the left leg back. And let's just pivot and put the heel down. So right heel in line with left heel. Nice deep bend. Bring hands to hips. So just press down on the tops of the hips. Good, nice positioning in the legs. Elbows back. So thumbs just right on the iliac crest, which is the top of the pelvis, left and right. And just touch that spot with the hands, the thumbs, and squeeze the elbows back. So left heel down. Breath in, breath out. Press down on the top of the waist and just lift the rib cage up off the waist. And lead with the chest again. Dive forward again. Plank position or plank with the chair or forearm plank. I'll demonstrate forearm plank this time. And you can do forearm dog as well. So from plank up to dog, and whether or not you are on forearms, just take plank to dog a couple times. So inhaling, coming into plank or forearm plank. Exhaling, coming into dog or forearm dog. And plank or forearm plank. And once more, dog or forearm dog. The forearm variation Definitely gives you more strengthening in the upper shoulders, whereas the other is more into the lower shoulder blade area. And plank, and knees, chest, and chin. You can kind of dive down through gentle cobra, forehead down. And hug elbows in, press fingers, press palms, press tops of feet, and rise up. Gentle cobra. And forehead touches, toes curl under. And lift your knees, scoop them forward, press the hands, rock the hips back. Exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. And come up, left foot forward between the hands, good. And straight leg lunge. Come up to fingertips on block. And bring the right foot forward and pivot and plant that heel. Same warrior position, hands on hips, thumbs top of iliac crest, left and right. Elbows towards each other. With each exhalation, feeling the weight of your legs and the weight of your body distributed through the legs. Breathe in, breathe out. And release the hands, turn the palms skyward. Stretch up. See if you can sink a little deeper into your pose. Commit to it. So committing to warrior one. Imagine there's some yoga artist out there that's gonna sketch your lines. So you want to exemplify this nice direct connection through middle fingers, right down through crown of head. Little bit of an arch as the chest comes forward. Pelvis is level, left to right. Nice deep bend to the left knee, pressing outer right heel. Good, a couple more breaths. Kind of like the first asana of the day when you really pause and touch all those points. And lift ball of left foot. Step right foot forward. Slide hands up, legs, breath in. Hands to ankles, breath out. Forehead towards block. Loose elbows. Big breath in and out. And lengthen your spine again. Slide the hands up towards the kneecaps. Take your tailbone down, turn your palms up, breathe in. And just turning to the camera so you can see the side stretch. Just stretching left and then right. So great to have just some go-tos to get started. And sun salutation is just the classic way to get all these parts moving. And so everyone turning towards your camera and having the mat oriented towards your camera in this width ways. And take the legs wide apart. So we'll just keep moving, building, adding pieces. And we'll probably work on some twisting today. Turn the right foot out to the right and the ball of the left foot in, and bring your block to the outside of your right foot. And little bend to the right knee and externally rotate the right thigh. And take your left hand and just aim it out to the left and shoot the hips out to the left. Extend the right leg, reach out with the right arm as well, like a star. I saw an amazing film this weekend. It's on Netflix, maybe you've seen it. It's called My Octopus Teacher. It takes place in South Africa off the coast in a kelp forest. And it's a story of this diver, this skin diver, who befriends an octopus. And there's this amazing scene where the sun stars, after the octopus catches its prey, all these sea stars go and attack it in its den to try to take the prey. It's just quite remarkable, the footage and everything. So this reminds me of the stars, the sea stars here in our triangle position. And bend your right knee and come up, warrior two. You can even take the legs wider. Yeah, good. So if you check your alignment, bring the hands to the hips so you can feel the alignment of the pelvis, left to right. And then inch your feet even further open so that your right knee is directly above your right ankle. Good, I love that adjustment. So either coming back off of it a little or taking the legs wider. And just exhaling and weighting the pelvis and extending the arms out. Another variation kind of this star shape in the arms. So like a five-pointed star, I guess a five-pointed star would be straight out like this. But maybe more like a Star of David, where you have the arms a little higher lifted. And gaze towards the right hand. And gaze towards the left hand. And let's come right into side angle. So just bring right elbow to right knee and extend the right arm skyward. Turn the palm towards the opposite wall and extend that arm overhead. So right arm overhead, left arm overhead. You can also work left hand, left hip. So just as in our warm-up poses and in our mountain poses, the hips align towards the heels rather than pressing forward and jetting forward. Hips back and rotate the rib cage from that stability in the hips and the pelvis. And bring the upper arm down, press the right foot, and parallel your feet. Just heel toe them together. Exhale audibly to yourself. Kick the legs in front of the midline. And bring your block to the second side. And turn both feet to the left. Nice wide stance. Little bend to the left knee. Track it with second and third toe. Good, and then we're gonna extend. Left leg, extend right arm. Good, oh, enjoy that tilt. Extend the left arm more like a star than a triangle at this point. And then just let that left arm come down where it will. Maybe to the block, maybe to the shin. Comfortable head and neck. Breathing in and out. And a little bend to the left knee. Come up, warrior two, and bring hands to hips. So just hook the tiger's mouth. So the index finger and the thumb, they call that the tiger's mouth in Chinese medicine. Just put the tiger's mouth right on the hips. Left and right. And drop the shoulders towards the pelvis. So tops of shoulders drop down. And then that C-star position. I've never seen C-stars move so quickly. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. And extending the arms out. That little lift. Good, beautiful. And left knee right in line with left ankle. I think practicing yoga, practicing asana is a way to emulate nature and perhaps to feel closer to nature and that we are part of it, you know, left elbow, left knee, that we can take the different shapes, sacred geometry in our own bodies, and slide this upper arm. And the yogis who talk about that, just that the body becomes a conduit from the superconscious, what we're not, you know, what we can't grasp easily, and our own limited consciousness. And we do these practices in order to bridge those two bodies of wisdom, our own inner and what's unknown, what's unconscious, what's beyond our limited understanding. And we'll press the left foot to come up, parallel the feet, and heel toe the feet together. And shake the legs, cross. And bend your knees, come up onto the toes. So, I'm going to turn my mat. We're going to work with some more Warrior One variations and Parsvottanasana. If you can bring your heel to the wall, that gives more stability if you have that ability. If not, don't worry about it. But we're just going to turn the right foot out 45 degrees, maybe at a wall. If you have your block, have that handy, and step the left foot forward. So you can press the back heel into the wall. You get a little sensation of, okay, that's where my back heel is. And swing your hips towards the front of your mat. So if you drew a line between the left and the right hip bone, be parallel with the front of your mat. Breathe in, breathe out. And we're just gonna take a little slight bend to the left leg and dive forward and bring your hands to the block. So if you don't have a block, you can bring your hands to the seat of a chair or your shin. Good. Let's see people getting their blocks. Breathe in, breathe out. Yeah, I can turn sideways for your visual. So extending. I can't remember if I gave mirrored instructions or not. But anyway, extending the straight front leg. That looks like it's your left, yeah, so your left leg. And then we're just gonna bring the fingertips towards the floor and bow the forehead towards the shin. Might even contact the forehead to the shin. Breathe in and out. And bend the front leg, just bring hands back to the hips and come back to standing. And step the back leg forward and shake the legs a little. And then step the forward leg back. So the left heel comes to the wall. And the right leg is forward. And then work to extend that right leg. Bringing back this way, just so you can see left and right hips are parallel with each other. Heels at the wall. And extend that front leg, fingertips to block. Keep drawing the right hip back and the left hip forward a little. And also keep pressing the right big toe down. That wants to lift up a little, so press it down. Couple breaths. And then tuck your navel up underneath your ribs or up towards your spine and towards the lumbar, and just bring the forehead towards the shin. Take your head out a little bit. And bend your right knee, hands back to hips, and step the back leg forward and just wiggle your hips a little. And walk back. And we'll do the first side again. So right foot turned out 45 and a big step forward with the left. This time we're going to take a little rotation. So just start by bending your left knee and bring your block just to the front of your left foot. So left knee bent. And lift the arms up just as we started and take a little twist. So bring the left hand to the back of the left hip and right hand outside of right knee. And then we'll come up with extending the left leg, and then we'll dive forward. So right hand towards the block, left hand still on the sacrum or the hip. If you have come down to the floor, you can work twisting poses on the floor, similar to what we're doing, but just crossing the midline with the leg. And taking a twist. And bend the left leg, hands back to hips and come up. And we'll push off the back leg and step back with the left foot. So squaring the hips to the camera. If you're on the floor, you can re-square the hips and prepare to twist on the second side. Inhale, arms up so that right knee is bent. Exhale, oops, move your block. Exhale, bring the right hand or left hand to the outer right knee. And right hand, right hip or sacrum, breathe. And then we'll work towards extending the right leg, reaching out with the left hand to or towards the block, and take a twist. To get more stability, you can inch the feet open a little bit, like opening that channel between the left and the right foot. So it's less like standing on a balance beam and more like on a wider surface. Breathe. Just really strengthen the back leg. And come back through center. And we'll just dive forward more and bring left and right hand, pinkies to outer edges of the mat, and step the left leg back, both heels up the wall. If you have your wall, dog pose. If you're on the floor, coming into some kind of a forward bend or a child's pose would be equivalent. Just gonna gaze and see where folks are, if they're kind of at the wall, yeah. So you can also use a doorway, because I would like to encourage folks, even if you can't do it now with where you are, in future, to be able to stretch one leg up the wall. So that right leg up and back, just kind of want to look. Even if you can't do that today, that's where I'd like to guide us in future classes. But I see that folks don't necessarily have great wall space for that. Yeah, so if you can, stretch the right and then the left leg up without disturbing your bookcase or your window covering. And if not, just dog pose. And then come back down onto hands and knees. And just feel the weight distributed left to right, left hand to right hand, left knee to right knee. And cat and cow. So pressing firmly through the hands, base of index, base of thumb, round the thoracic spine skyward on in-breath. Release the belly, lift the head on out-breath. And perhaps speed it up a little bit. Next time the breath is in, just hold that inhalation up. And bring your knees together midline and right knee in towards head, and then extend it back. Nice flat back. And in towards head, extend. And next time your right leg is extended, lift the left arm. Not sure what this emulates in nature, but there's a lot of this crossover work in yoga and the healing arts in general. You know, using one side left and then the opposite side's doing kind of a mirror image. And knees together, rock hips side to side. Opposites. Just working always on balancing opposites, reducing duality, polarization, just bringing together. That's what yoga is about. Bringing disparate parts together. And come back through center and second side. That's what it's about to me. It might be something different for you, so whatever it is for you, welcome that. Your own definitions, your own interpretations, your own sensations. Just curling, head towards me, extending out through left inner heel. Couple more. Yeah, people feel free to do your own variations or use modifications, chairs, walls, forearms. Not adding the lifted arm if that aggravates the pre-existing injury or strain. A couple more breaths. And knees together and rock your hips side to side. So we'll work a little bit with camel pose, not camel, the name of the poses escaping me. But if you can come back to a kneeling position just for a few breaths. And just notice the impact or the effect. The effect of the poses so far. And how that may translate into your affect. So the way that you are presenting to the world. Just notice 3 or 4 breaths go by. Letting go of anything you may be holding on exhalation that you don't need to hold. So if you had that blanket that we started out with, make a little roll with it. So from a quarter fold, and roll it up into a little prop. And we're going to pigeon, that's the name. We're going to work with pigeon. So back to hands and knees. And just bring your blanket roll or your block to the right side. And we're just going to bring the right foot forward between the hands. And bring your roll block under, or roll blanket underneath your right hip. And just extend the left leg back. So this can also be done on the floor as a piriformis stretch or a thread the needle stretch, where you're laying on your back and bringing the right ankle to the top of the left knee. So if you prefer to work with that, you can come onto your back. And yes, and just draw that right thigh back towards you. So pigeon pose or piriformis stretch. Yeah. Yeah, so Karen is demonstrating the more pelvic stable variation of this. And coming onto your forearms. So just stretching the front of the left groin. It's a great stretch for that. It's a good pose for the holidays because it opens up the digestion a little bit. And you can vary it. So you can either make it into a forward bend or a back bend. So just decide what's right for you. You may bring one hand on top of the other or your block under your forehead. And after several breaths in that forward fold position, just Come back up into more of a cobra back, elbows in, chest forward, gaze up as if you were taking in the night sky. And come back through center. Turn the toes under of the left foot, press into the hands, draw your navel strongly back, and you may even come back into dog pose between sides. And swing the blanket to the other side. So when we work leg lifts, and if you did work leg lifts, you can extend that left leg up and back first, and then sweep it forward. So tucking blanket or block underneath the left hip. So my left hip is a little tighter, so I might use a block on this side for starters. So just enjoy, very much like the standing work we've done. You can also put the shin more towards parallel to increase the stretch in the hip. Meaning parallel with the front of your mat. And coming down, perhaps forearms. Or if you have a blanket under your hip, you might use a block under your forehead or vice versa. Just a little place to rest your forehead. Breathe, just really breathe into that hip. And the right leg is active, so really actively stretching through the top of the right foot. Couple more breaths. And coming up, just walk the hands back, more of a cobra variation. Walk the fingers back, bring the chest forward, elbows back. You can even lift the back leg. And lift up the pelvis, press through the hands, step it back, extended child's or dog pose. If you're doing the piriformis stretch, you can do just extending both legs skyward and doing some curls. You know, we often do that where you're on your back like a right angle with the heels pressing up. Yep. And then you can take the hands towards the ankles and curl up. Couple more breaths. And everybody curling into child's pose. An hour goes by quickly, so either child's pose or if you're on your back and you want to just hug the knees into chest, feel free to do that. So I welcome and encourage you to continue on with a little more stretching and visiting a few more poses once you've left class, you know, because you're nicely warmed up. Perhaps there's some more back bending you want to do, or some inverting, or some boat pose, legs up the wall. Just anything to extend your practice a little bit, or you can revisit it later in the day. Palms turned up alongside the ankles. So we're entering into the wind down portion. So when we move with gentleness and slowness as you slowly come onto your back and make the same shape on your back, tugging the knees in towards the chest. And rock side to side. Yeah, just take another minute or so to do anything you wanted to do that you didn't get to do. So that might be another twist, or it might be opening the inner thighs. It might be rolling on the spine. It might be a bridge pose or a shoulder stand. Just whatever pieces will bring you towards completion for the moment. And then coming onto your back for relaxation, just stretching the legs straight down from the hips and feet as wide as your mat. And same thing with the arms, the armpits open. And just even tucking your shoulder blades up under the back a little bit. And become aware of your body's surface. It contacts the floor. Back of the head, back of the shoulders, shoulder blades, rib cage, elbows, knuckles, hips, calves, heels, perhaps outer edges of the feet or ankles. Just another minute or so. And after 3 more breaths, allow the 4th one to reanimate your body. Just take a deeper breath out towards the edges. And wiggle your fingers, your toes. Stretch any way your body wants to stretch. And bend your knees and roll to your favorite side. Stay curled up for a breath or two. And use your arms to support your body weight. And slowly come up with the head last. Unless you've decided to take a longer rest, in which case enjoy your Shavasana and you're extending your practice. Namaste. Can unmute if you want. I am doing chair yoga half-hour classes on Mondays and Wednesdays at 4.